Hello, everybody. How are you doing today, Jen?
Here. I've got my coffee. I'm good. Let's go.
I got my coffee, and I definitely had lots of intense dreams last night. So I'm just kind of like, I'm here. This is me, and this is what I'm doing in my space.
Really? What kind of dreams did you have?
Ooh, last night it had to do a lot with control.
Oh,
Ah, so
tell
I
me
wanted to
more.
really bring this up today and talk about sovereignty or freedom or however you perceive that. So, how do you feel about sovereignty? What does it mean to you?
I know when I'm not in my sovereignty.
Let's fucking talk about that for a second.
I'll tell you when I am not in my sovereignty for real. Fourth grade drop off, elementary school, not in my sovereignty. Like those moms are out for blood
Ooh,
in the morning. Like it is jockeying for position. It is making sure you get in. Like it is dog eat dog at elementary school drop off. Like no joke. So
damn.
I know when I am not in my sovereignty and it is in that window of time. And even driving home, trying to like take a left hand turn across traffic into my neighborhood, and those people are like, trying to like make it through the light.
Sure,
Not
sure.
in my sovereignty.
Okay, okay. What do you do not in your sovereignty? What is your game?
Oh, I lose my cool. Absolutely. I mean, in that moment of release, I feel better, but like I feel bad for the cars around me. No, I think like in all honesty, to me, sovereignty is a moment by moment choice that we make until it
Okay.
starts to feel more natural.
Right. Okay. Well, and sovereignty is like different to everybody. And some
Yeah.
people get really even triggered by the word. So for all of you that are watching too, like what the hell does sovereignty mean to you? What does that look like?
Well, what does
And
it mean to you?
well, I liked how you brought up like what it's not. And I think a lot of times what I hear in content is this is what sovereignty is. This is what it feels like. Well, what is it not?
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to circle that and then I'll go into my own definition of sovereignty. What is it not for me is when when I have a mask on. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. The
When
looking
there's
good in front of others.
exactly, exactly. Now this is like the yester me. So I'm going to talk to the yester me. Thank you, little me. Come up here and have a little chat. A cute little me that would like put a mask on, either a people pleaser or I'm not going to show the entirety of myself, or I'm going to make myself look a little less queer or feminine, whatever the case is, just to kind of set into the set it into the base that I have a mask on. I had this interaction yesterday, and it was very clear what was me and what was not me because now I'm super direct and brash about it. Like I don't hold back on anything. Um, I was just noticing and perceiving a situation where I was in with a bunch of people. I'm not going to say where we're going or anything like that, but I just noticed that I'm like, why is everybody got a mask on? Why aren't you just like saying what you mean in the space? Trying to make it feel all really nice, and we're all going on a car ride, and like I can see when people are getting like a little uncomfortable, and so I'm sitting here like, so why is everybody lying?
Yeah, yeah, and putting that wall up. Like I'll say
And
a mask, another word for mask is that wall that's up that we don't allow like our light to shine through.
oh, totally.
And it's like from the inside knocking on the wall, but then you're on the outside knocking on the exact same wall.
Right.
And not everyone is knocking inside. And I think
No.
that's part of like our mission is to tap loud enough on the outside that they can hear it on the inside and go, oh, I think there's something out there.
Right. There's something that's not me. I have to say with sovereignty, for me, it's am I entirely myself in any given situation? That means, am I going to wear exactly what I'm going to wear? Am I going to say what I'm going to say? Am I going to set my boundaries? For me, it's just not giving a shit as to who I am and who's around me because if they don't like it, then they don't have to be around me. And that's not to be like mean or anything. I do it in a loving way. That's entirely me. But if I have to like hold back on anything, that's not sovereign for me.
Yeah, because that wall, that veneer between your inner world and the outer world is so clear that you can allow the outer world to penetrate the inner world and vice versa. Like that's like an air
Absolutely.
filter that's clear, right? Like you're allowing
Totally.
that to flow, and that's awesome. Like that's where we strive to be, you know?
That's that's it. And that's why I say for myself that's the highest vibration you can get is your authentic sovereign self. That
Okay.
goes past the loving vibration because if you're entirely you, you are loving yourself 100%.
Yes. And you've taught me how to do that. Like that's amazing.
Big deal. I mean, I'll sit here and be a base for you to learn how to do it yourself, but that is that's where we're headed.
Absolutely, absolutely. But it's that inner work that we do that shines on the outside world. And that
Totally.
then interacts with, because when our inner world and our outer world can be in harmony,
Right.
like we feel good. And then,
Really good.
yeah.
Yep.
So, but when the inner world and the outer world are in conflict, either there's upset or there's that, or we kind of like insulate ourselves and we go,
Correct. Yep.
boundary, can't get past it. And so when you're with people in that car and you're like, can't you just be real? And they're like, I don't either know how to. I don't know that
Right.
that's a thing. I think I'm being real within the confines of this, box that I put
This box.
myself in. Don't
Mhm.
even know I'm
Mhm.
in a box, like people
Right.
that are just kind of living through their daily lives thinking this is all that there is and they're totally happy and cool with that. Good on ya. But they don't even
Right.
know that they're in a box. And so, but you can see more than that. And I think anyone kind of attracted to this kind of conversation can see
Sure.
more than that, whether they've been able to go outside of that box or not. That's sort of the job. That's sort of the mission, is to do that.
That's I mean, that's what I really do believe that we're here to do. If that's, I mean, that's from my perspective. And to even poke, I mean, I poke, I poke a lot. I'm like, so why are you lying? And I said that yesterday because I know these people very well. I'm like, why is that the case? Because it's then like they come up to me and they start gossiping. I'm like, no, I don't play that game either, sweetheart. So you're going to be talking to the person directly. If you have a situation, don't come to me about it. Why are you lying to yourself? That's really it. And this is the whole game that I wanted to bring in for today is what aspects of yourself, and these are all of course constructs from how I believe and how I see the frequencies, what constructs are in there that are still allowing you to control yourself essentially, and also keep the control vibration going in your outer reality, whether that is manifesting, whether that's money. What aspects are you controlling that's not sovereign for you?
Well, I don't know what aspects I'm controlling, but I do know when I feel weighted down. And like when we talk about like what is sovereignty not, what
Right.
is sovereignty is not is like when I'm feeling weighted down. And so there's some form of control that I must be hanging on to. I am needing a construct to stay the same,
Right.
not allowing it to evolve or change or allow myself to evolve and change and grow, whether it's within the circumstances or the environment or
Sure.
whatever, right? So I think like if I'm being weighted down, it's almost like there's just something I have to scrape away or clear. And to me, that's like healing the inner child. That's doing
Sure.
the generational trauma work. That's
Absolutely.
healing my body, garbage in, garbage out. Yes. But garbage in, dead food in deadens that vibration in our body. And if everything is energy, what we
Sure.
put into
Hmm.
our body, whether it's, chemicals or air or
Everything.
food or anything, it's
Yep.
going to slow us down. And all of that adds to that, just like pulling us down. And that to me feels lethargic. It feels depressed. It
Yep.
feels uninspired. It feels dead inside. And I literally was having this conversation yesterday with a friend of
Hmm.
mine, and she was telling me that she felt numb. And I was like, yes, that is how I felt yesterday. I just felt numb.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the advice I gave her, and she said, talk to me as if you're talking to yourself. Like, excuse me, the advice I gave her was to just go get distracted and do something else to take your mind off of it. Because at some point, if you no longer are going, boy, I feel numb, boy, I feel numb, I
Sure.
feel
Sure.
depressed. Once you take your mind off of it, that bobber kind of rises to the top of the water surface and just allows yourself to float up. So that's kind of how I dealt with
Yep.
it is I
Yep.
just got distracted in other things. And then I just realized I wasn't feeling numb anymore.
Right, right, right. That's a really good thing to circle there. And if I'm talking about vibrational frequency and how that aspect works, if you're continually, okay, words, you're here. I know it. I just have to say a good fuck for a second to get that moving.
I say those
Um,
bitches in line at the
all
elementary
the
school
bitches and
drop
hoes,
off.
go, 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 go. Yeah, exactly.
It's fucking Friday again.
It is fucking Friday again, and everybody who's watching this too, like, take a moment to just like let something out, say a good fuck or something, man. Just be
Exactly.
you for a hot second.
It's just
Um,
a release. It's a release.
it's just a release, and
Yeah.
I really appreciate how we work with that because, I have these people coming in with the spiritual, like, oh, just you gotta be so high in spirit. I'm like, I'm being spiritual by saying fuck.
I love it when people are like, love and light, love and light. And I was
Oh
like,
no,
fuck
man.
that shit, like, no love and light. Not until you get higher up can you say love and light. When you're in the day to day, you do not want to be saying love and light.
No, that's not even something that resonates with me, to be honest with you, because it's
Yeah.
been such a like a distorted, bastardized like comment. Like we're just gonna slap a love of light on there, and I'm like, what if I want to murder a bitch right now? You know what I'm saying?
No, not for real,
Like,
not for real, metaphorically
hold on.
speaking.
It is metaphorically speaking.
Right, right.
In my internal world, like, I have a really really big, intense, like kind of a African American vibe that comes out, and it's very loving, but it is very direct. And sometimes that energy, that wild woman energy, is very necessary for me to get through certain facets. So I just kind of embrace that.
Do you think the people that go love and light are the ones that hold the mask that you were just talking about earlier? That you're like, sometimes people have a mask on, and maybe that love and light is a mask of the looking good. If I'm spiritual, but really they just want to like punch a bitch.
Yeah, I'm going to be direct and honest with that. That has been my perspective, but it's my perspective, you know?
I love
And
it.
for all those love and lighters, like, I respect you for where you're at.
Love
That's
and
great
lighters.
for me. Again, my perspective. Nobody
Right.
here has to take it. Uh, yeah, what kind of mask does that put on? What kind of mask does spirituality put on? I had this conversation yesterday with somebody. I'm like, I don't even resonate with spirituality because it's been perceived as someone who's like higher up. Like they've been doing all this like, hi, I'm enlightened shit. And I'm like, yeah, no, that doesn't resonate with me either. It just
Yeah, I mean, what if sovereignty is really just being your best, most authentic self? And it doesn't have to be anything more than that.
exactly.
Can I get a high five?
High five. Get it.
High
Get
five.
it. That's
One, two,
boom,
three.
boom, 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 boom.
Oh my God.
uh that is my definition of sovereignty. Am I the freest me I can possibly be without any boxes at all? Without
Mhm.
any boxes at all. And well, I'm gonna go circle back into the vibrational frequency. As far as breaking that down into atoms of vibration, right? If molecularly, if we are giving something energy, obviously it's going to attract more. That is actually science. That is how it works. If you're going to sit in depression for a hot second and loop it and loop it, and I'm feeling this, and I'm still feeling this way. For me, that sounds awful. Like I wouldn't ever stay in there. But to embrace it first and then go, I'm going to question why I
Yeah.
might be feeling a little depressed right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So questioning is another piece to get out of it.
Yeah, and some of it too could also be like, don't underestimate the power of like the fact that our body is vibrationally resonance,
Indeed.
and it's like an air filter. And if you put negative stuff in, you're going to get negative stuff out. And I mean, and really no joke, like my son ate a thing of Pringles, like an entire tube of
Dang.
Pringles, which in
Or
my
get it,
opinion
buddy.
is all chemicals. And then that night he threw up and felt awful and didn't want to go to
Sure.
school the next day. And I was like, you put garbage in, garbage literally came out, and you wonder why. Like our bodies are not meant to be like that, especially right now
No.
when we're getting all this external influences from source, right? Whether it's like these solar flares or just,
Sure.
the
Sure.
Schumann resonance or whatever it is that's outside of us that's
Eh,
coming in to try and help us break
Right.
that wall.
Right.
Our bodies are naturally wanting to lift up. And the stuff that used to be okay a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago is not okay anymore. So
freaking
the
yesterday.
sovereignty game is changing. What?
I was going to say freaking yesterday. I had this whole situation yesterday where my body was like, I certainly don't want to eat this or this anymore. What I thought was healthy for it. It was like, okay, absolutely not. I mean, it's refusing at this point because of my vibrational frequency. And
Yeah.
that's where I get back into sovereignty also means, can you listen to yourself? Can you
Oh,
for a
that's a good one.
second, is your body actually appreciating that? Because we are an embodiment, but
Mm.
our souls are our vessel to all the aspects that are coming in from source.
Yes.
Everything, our attunement, our guidance point. So if it is not in tune, then how much are we not going to be free?
Well,
How
that's
much?
when it becomes a choice.
That's it
And
right there.
so it's in those moments of, you're getting run over in the drop off line of fourth grade,
Right.
and your choice of, are you going to get mad, or are you going to like
That's it right
get
there.
through the moment, but allow yourself to recover?
Exactly. How are you going to respond to it? And that's how I specifically know that I'm shifting my resonance frequency because I'm going to respond to it in a different way.
Yeah.
Okay. And now that doesn't mean that I don't have like my bitches and fucks for a hot second because I do. Like don't get like
Right.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat because I've seen that too. And like to my little yester self that was like internally like, what is happening? And I'm gonna be now I'm just like I'm gonna say it out loud. I'm gonna express it and be like, and gratitude to whatever that was, like somebody cutting me off and stuff like that. Now I'm gonna shift to a different resonance.
And yeah, and especially when the response comes back to you, I'm gonna pray for you. And it's like, you're gonna
Oh,
pray to run me over again, is what you're gonna do.
girl. Oh, you just opened up a bag.
Where's
Oh
that
my
fun for
gosh.
you?
How many times have I had people do that? A lot. Like, I'm gonna pray for you. And now I don't get it anymore. But back then I was like, I think maybe you should pray for yourself because I'm doing okay. Thank you. You know, I mean, it's everybody's point of view and their constructs. This is another piece to it is when you're out and about and you're in your sovereign freedom and you know that you are, and people are coming at you with their own perspectives, their own judgments. How are you going to stand in that? What are you going to do in those points? Because a lot of times where we're at, like where I've seen in society, is we kind of cave there because we don't want to be kicked out of the group. Still going back to
Yes.
that survival piece, right?
Oh, that is such a big piece of keeping that wall up,
Yep,
is
it's huge.
yes, of belonging, that sense of belonging and being
Mhm.
part of a community, and that looking good within your peer group.
Exactly, exactly. And how many of you guys, I just want you to question this for yourself. How many of you are you willing to be yourself and see what happens in your group? Because it might mean that, they don't like you anymore because you're being the true you.
How about telling your friends that go to church every Sunday that you read tarot cards? Oh,
Oh,
hell,
shoot.
Devil's Week. I was like, no, it is not. It is just a visual representation of spirit talking to you, and the
Totally.
interpretation, leveraging my own inner strength and
Right.
my
Hmm.
connection to source to interpret imagery. And, I don't know, but we have the new pope who just got elected yesterday. He's
Yep.
from Chicago. I'm from Chicago originally. Those F bombs drop naturally out of the womb, so that pope has dropped his share
Oh,
of F
hell yes.
bombs from time. So I don't know.
Oh, yes. Yep, yep, yep. All the things underneath that we perceive that are really there. They are there if we choose to perceive them. So even knowing with the Pope, I was having a fun conversation with somebody yesterday about the Pope and that coming in, and I was like, lots of religious perspectives popping up over the last few weeks. What does that
Yeah.
actually look like? What does it mean? How do you perceive the Pope? How do you perceive religion in and of itself? Like, what is that to you? Because I'm seeing these things just kind of fly up, Christ consciousness, do a good flare, and I appreciate that for all that it is. But how many crossfires are out and about that aren't allowing people to see truth?
Well, first of all, my dad's, because I'm from Chicago originally, my dad still lives in Chicago. He sent me
Mhm.
this picture yesterday over text, and it's a picture of like Mike Ditka and the Pope and a couple of other dudes, and they're like, "Da Pope," like da bears. They're all dressed as the Pope is there, and like all these guys are dressed in bear sweatshirts. So I'm like, all right, that kind of humanizes him a bit. But when
Sure,
you go back to religion, and it goes back to your point at the beginning of this
sure.
chat, It's about control. To me, that's what religion,
Yes.
man-made religion, has
Uh,
always been traditionally throughout history, about control under the guise
uh,
of protecting your soul. But no one has to protect your soul but yourself.
no. No, I mean, why we're a part of an infinite source that's super abundant. Why is the protection piece needed at all?
Well, that gives somebody else power
It does.
and
It does.
authority.
And authority, and under the perceived aspect of like, oh, this is going to keep me safe, my soul's going to go where it needs to go, whatever the case. There's so many constructs that have to do with religion. Now I'm going to break this down a little bit further. How is that aspect tied to money?
Yeah. You know what? I don't know. Like I want to get there, but what's showing up for me about money is now when I listen to like YouTube videos and like the thumbnail is supposed to
um,
capture your attention and everything, they're like, the system is crashing. And at first that used to get me excited. I was like, yeah,
right,
burn it down to the
right,
ground.
yep,
Now it feels like no, I think it already did crash in the background, and the cards have always kind of validated that of saying like it's
right,
already done. We're waiting for the timing to be right to introduce this new system. But in the collective, whatever the collective means, and we can break
okay,
that down as
yep,
well,
hell yes.
it's all about the repression of it and about how you're going to be negatively impacted and prepare because of chaos. And now it no longer feels good to me. And I don't know what to do about that because I don't know where to go with it when it comes to money.
Yeah, yeah, so let's fucking put that shit on the table right there.
Okay.
Okay. These are the inner lines that I was seeing going. I'm like, yeah, and how in perspective has that also been tied to religion and how they're having you perceive the system and what that is. Even the system in general. Like to me that's like, ooh, that is any type of system that has to be like that. I'm like, that is all full of
And
control.
don't forget to tithe 10% of your income.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
literally sat at church and heard them say, it is not your money, it is God's money. You pay him first. And I was like, pretty sure I made that money.
Yep. Yep. Pretty sure nope. That's mine. Pretty sure I'm not gonna no.
Nope, to the Pope on the rope. Okay, I get it.
No, 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 no. And again, this is all diving deep into your own constructs and your vibrational field and how you're feeling about everything. And even, I don't even say money because my system is like, once you go into like the money facet, it's a system, it's controlled by the government, it's controlled by religion. So, I always say like this is just equal exchange and reciprocity, and that's how I use a facet of money.
And so, if money is treated like energy, which I always kind
Yes.
of felt like Jesus was this metaphysical teacher, he was the greatest. Okay, your eyes just went, bleh. So I
I'm
feel
like,
like call bullshit on that. But like I grew up Catholic, and I have since like become more spiritual, right? But since the
sure, sure,
topic
sure.
of, and sorry if you can hear noise, there's like landscapers in the background. So,
Oh, you're good.
anyways, now I've kind of lost my train of thought. But if money was to be treated as a spiritual flow and exchange of
Right.
energy, if those people were astute in church, instead of saying it's God's money, not my money, they would actually say, the more you give
Okay.
away, the more God provides back to you. Feel free to give to us as the church, whatever their hook, line, and sinker line is. But
Right.
instead of telling people that they're not going to, go to the kingdom of heaven unless they give God 10% first, like the exchange of money, the more you give, the more you receive. And then that's why it's so nice to be able to give to others without anything being expected of you. And I feel like perhaps more
Right.
of that will create the money flow. So I don't know if I put that parallel into effect about this money system and the crash of the money system, but it's sort of like the more you give, perhaps more you receive. And I don't know, I'd like to be more in that mindset to be able to usher in
Right, right,
abundance.
right. No, we're talking about I had a good laugh because really when Jesus comes up, I laugh because my perception of that is the fake Jesus that humanity has put the face on,
The one
right?
that
Like
doesn't look anything like the
the
real
one that
guy.
doesn't look like the real guy. Nobody even knows what the real guy looks like. So
Yeah, right.
I always laugh because I'm like, are you talking about black Jesus with the gold crown? Yeah, like that Jesus. Which Jesus perspective are you talking about? And I'm not against Christ consciousness or anything like that. I
Right.
just don't perceive it in the way that it's been perceived here.
To take away the seriousness of it, because really it's a
Right.
man-made construct. And so,
Oh, exactly, exactly. And so going back to what you said, this is a conversation I had yesterday, and I dug really deep into this because to give more is to get more, okay? And that has been a religious construct that I've seen run through for such a long time that I see the programming in that is to just give. And most of the time there's not receiving, because if you give more, you're supposed to receive more. It actually starts to catapult itself into not getting anything back because of how the religious point was
yeah,
made, right?
yeah.
And then the people are like, I'm feeling very frustrated right now because like I just keep giving. There's a people pleaser right there that's
Ah,
showing up with
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay. And a lot of times I have seen it take it out of self, where it's not because it's wanting to, it's just because there's a higher perspective religion that said, hey, like give more to receive more. And so are you actually enabling? This is a piece that I debunked yesterday for myself. I'm like, how many like of these pieces are we enabling? Because that is actually, and I noticed this for myself, my little Yester person. She would have been like, look, there's somebody who's a single mother, and like I'm going to give to her, and then I'm going to keep giving. And
Yeah.
here's the thing,
No
right?
one
And
gave
I'm
the
like,
baby
oh,
to
I keep
someone.
looping, right? And then I was like, yep, now I'm enabling. This person can get to the same point I can, where we're all sovereign, right? So for me, I had to break that loop for myself. That was a while back, and then step into self and be like, if I'm going to give now, it's because that is heart based, and I feel really good about giving, and I know that that's going to be an equal space of reciprocity.
So what happens in the space when we give and very little comes back, if anything at all?
I mean, personally, I've seen these constructs saying, no, then God's going to provide, universal source is going to provide. And I'm seeing this polarity dynamic of then I'm seeing the lack sitting there, sitting in lack. Like, I'm going to give, I'm always going to provide, going to give, always provide. What are you really wanting here? Well, I want to be sovereign, and I want to, make sure that I'm wealthy and abundant. And I'm like, okay, do you see where the loop is in that?
Yes, but like we're making wealthy and abundant be the end goal, as opposed
Mhm.
to the means to get to what's beyond wealthy and abundant. Okay, you're wealthy and abundant. Now what?
Yep.
Now
Now
I
what?
get to leave a corporate 9 to 5 and do spiritual work full time. Or now I get to give to people because I have the kindness in my heart and I'm expecting nothing back in return. No reciprocity, maybe not even a
Right.
thank you, other than just to kind of help someone out who's struggling. Like it would be awesome to get to that place.
We're on a pause.
No, not again. Wi-Fi.
What are we doing? No, the energy apparently needed to be broken up. So say that one more time.
It like what's on the other side of wealth and abundance? So like we're all wanting to get to wealth and abundance, and you say we're kind of in this loop, like I want to be sovereign so I can be wealth and abundant, but then but I have to be sovereign first. And I'm kind of on that track, right? But it's
Mhm,
like, well,
mhm.
maybe we get outside of the wealth and abundance piece of it, because what's on the other side of wealth and abundance is giving to others to help them out, because we know maybe they are struggling, but they're not asking for help because there's
Right.
nothing that we need to get back in return. Or to be able to leave a corporate 9 to 5 to allow ourselves to
Sure.
do more
Sure.
spiritual work full time, or whatever our hearts are called to do, work with animals,
Right.
work with children, work with whatever, in the forest service, and be out in the mountains, and and cleaning up garbage that hikers leave behind, whatever it is, whatever your heart is called to do.
Right.
But like, to me, that's what's on the other side of this wealth and abundance, or not.
Okay. No, you pause for a second. I'm like, so
Oh.
if I don't respond, I'm like, da 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 da.
Did you have the on hold music going in your
Yeah, I did. I was like, do 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 do.
Oh,
uh,
sorry.
so what's on the other side of that? So I appreciate you saying that, and I think stepping outside of the wealth and abundance loop itself is going to allow us to see what might be possible on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right, because I'm not spending enough time thinking about what I'm going to be doing on the other side. I'm so
Right.
focused on what is the spot price of gold and silver today? Where is XRP at? Oh my God,
Right.
Bitcoin crossed 100,000. Now what? And I'm so focused on that piece of it. And I was listening to someone on YouTube the other day, and they were like saying, will you please stop measuring XRP in fiat dollar terms? Because
Sure.
that's not where it's supposed to, that's not where we're supposed to be focusing. And I was like, oh, what else am I supposed to focus on?
Right. Right. Right.
But
And
it's on the other pieces of
coming.
what you do once the abundance is in your hands.
Right, right, right. And the mechanism I was talking about earlier is to give to receive. A lot of times that I'm seeing these constructs come popping up where, like, we're giving out of a place of lack, right? Because we think there's going to be abundance on the other side. Whereas I think that's the loop itself. And if we bust out of that, not looking for an expectation or anything like that, if we look past abundance, wealth, power, because that's been the circulating control piece forever down here for a long time. Um, what's outside of that, and that's not to be like, well then what, that's also to be in presence of your sovereign being.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking for abundance. It's already here. I'm not looking for anything, actually. It's already a natural piece that's running through me, and I can give, receive. Doesn't have to be money, right?
Well, that's a fair point. That's a fair point because it could be abundance of love. It could be abundance of
Sure.
self-love. And
Yep.
it's really, I think ultimately, it's to fill that cup up so much within ourselves that it's overflowing
Hmm.
that we can give to others because we generate it from within ourselves. I think that's sort of the true meaning of abundance. We just happen to tie it to money.
We do, we do. So everybody, this was the storyline that we took of tying our abundance to money.
Yes, I still want, those things to appear, but oh, my phone or my thing just flashed. I'm still looking for those things to appear, but it doesn't mean that I have to like my happiness isn't predicated on it. Like it's my joy still has to come with or without it. Not with or without it. Just on its own because
Just be.
yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. To just be. So where I'm headed in with this, with my sovereignty, would be to detach my essence from money, detach it from wealth, detach it from control, all those pieces that run through the whole space. And you're frozen again.
Oh, I know you were
Ba-dum,
kind of
bum,
frozen on my
bum,
side
bum.
too. I'm sorry. This Wi-Fi is
Are you
not
there?
right in my house. But give me a couple more weeks and you'll have a different background. So, am I still
That's true.
frozen?
That's true. We're gonna go with it for now.
Yeah,
No, you're good.
sorry. But I like what you were talking about because I think like as we're kind of like wrapping up the conversation, it's more about like, okay, like articulate it again one more time in terms of like what your goal is in terms of where you see yourself heading.
Honestly, it's to step out of this, outside the box of this abundance piece that we have been seeing it. Like I'm breaking that part of it for myself down, because what I've seen in it interjected with control, government, religion, is that it's a never ending loop out of lack. It's been a
Which
space of lack. So even though we hear, I'm gonna give to receive, and I can see how much power, like, I've given away, to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be, and this is another thing, a gift of service. I'm gonna be in service to humanity. Okay.
right. Well, that puts
So
yourself
I want to also bring that to the table. You
yeah.
know,
That's a bit of a debt slavery kind of or
it
like a
is. It is exactly,
yeah.
and that does come from a very religious perspective, from my point of view. Like
Yeah.
I'm here to serve. And how many times have you seen or felt that or heard that in the spiritual community?
Oh, a lot, a lot. I mean, that's supposed to be the highest form of humility, maybe? Is that the right word? Like of like you've stripped away the trappings of life and how noble of you to be of service.
Right. Do you see where that might not be sovereign?
It feels like a mask.
It's a mask. That's my perspective too. It's a pretty big mask. And I see it every single day. I see it popping up there. I'm here to serve humanity. This is my mission, to serve humanity. And you know, good on good on that aspect. Like, thank you for having that lesson. And also, too, personally, I'm going to detach myself from that piece of it. It's not that I'm not going to be of service. It's just I'm not going to be in the slave train
Yeah.
going, I'm just here to be of service. And how much are you giving away, instead of like filling up in your own sovereignty? And when you are in your own sovereignty, you'll have more than enough to give whenever you want, whenever you feel good to do it, not because you think that your service is going to get you into a higher standpoint with Creator.
Well, that is how some of the rituals within the Catholic faith have started, was to do all of that, to get in service and you know, oops, are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, sorry, something happened on my PC. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I think what I'm hearing you say is just take away all of the things of you think what you're going to do, because especially if you're going to do it for someone else, that puts you in the authority spot and putting them in the now I'm beholden to you and your power. So I put myself in the authority position without even asking for their permission. So I have unnecessarily put myself in an authority position by saying I want to serve humanity or help humanity. Although I don't think that there's anything wrong with us trying to support others around us, but not under the guise of I'm going to support you because I'm better than you, I'm more enlightened than you, I'm more elevated than you. Like none of that. Like I am equal to everyone else, and all I'm just trying to do is just give from myself.
You got it. We're talking about hierarchy here.
Yeah, no, I didn't really see that until this moment of like, I never thought about like being, because I think it was coming from, I'm going to be beneath you and lift up. Well, come on now. We all know that that's just a trick.
That is a lovely trick that, you know, I want to say that I found myself in that one because of my background and how that was raised. And I pulled myself out of that real quick because it's like, no, like that makes me on a pedestal to be like, yes, I'm here directly to serve humanity. You know, how much energy am I giving away? A lot when I say that. And
yeah. Oh, now you're frozen again. Oh.
For myself, want to be in a very equal standpoint with everybody else here on Earth to move forward.
Well, I think that that's a wonderful place for us to kind of like tie the bookends together of like going back to the whole notion of everyone is one, if we are all one. What I think what that's meaning is that we're all in it together and that no one is above another person. Not that we're all like one conglomerated mass, but that we're all in equal footing, and it's just what we choose to do with it. And it's okay to be of service, to help others without using that word. It's okay to support people around you. It's okay to be kind to other people.
Yes.
And that's actually a way to help raise your own vibration. So if that's what that's how it helps you lift up in like filling up your own cup so it spills over, then I think that's a great goal to have for yourself.
Yeah, for self. And essentially what I was getting to with this aspect of it is when you're in your vibrational resonance of unity, and I'm gonna go with that one theme because I've certainly heard this many of times, like I am you, you are me, we're all one at the end of the day.
It's hard to get around that,
yeah. Oof. Like, what does your body do? What does your resonance do? It feels like at that point you lose your identity.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's kind of like you're being droned by the control piece of like, okay, I'm going to be then the gift of service. No, I'm you, you are me. We're going to keep going with that. And for me, that's like, that is not sovereignty at all. I know from a greater perspective, we're all an aspect of the universe. We all are. We're all parts and pieces of it. All puzzle pieces of that same aspect, you know, but different, unique puzzle pieces. And how we really give our gift of service is entirely being our own unique expression, owning ourselves entirely. And for me, that's coming back to a singularity point in the universe, which each one of us is a singularity point in the universe. It's all going to come back to me. I'm the only one in my reality creating my reality. Okay, I'm the one calling in you as a game player. Okay, to help me be in my reality because I wanted that and I chose that. And so I think coming back to that piece of like, my unique expression is that unique puzzle piece that needs to be here as a part of the whole. The more that I am that, no matter how crazy, weird, bitchy, fucky, all those things I am in power. Exactly. In so much love. And I do absolutely love humanity. Don't get me wrong with that. I have a very deep love. I have a very deep love for many different aspects here. And it cracks me up because I'm like, hey, you know, I want you all to be as much you as possible because that's actually unity. We can co-create when we're all being uniquely ourselves because that you're going to have a puzzle piece that I don't have because I'm uniquely myself. You're uniquely in yourself. So what I'm saying here is question it, people. Question the whole I am one, you are me, I am you situation and see what your resonance is feeling with that. I want you to be you so that I can be me, and then I can co-create with you. In unity, more service.
That is so powerful, like a powerful way to end this chat.
I agreed.
Just that message. That was so well said. Yeah, I love that.
Woo! Raising it up to unity. And unity means seriously owning yourself and your sovereignty and your freedom.
Yeah.
Because now I can see you, which I'm so grateful for that I have this opportunity to work with you. It makes me so excited. I'm very grateful for you. You're fantastic.
You are as well. Oh my gosh.
And the way that you own yourself and the way that you talk, like, I am just very grateful to be here with you right now. And that's because equal stand seeing you as an equal part to me and an equal partner to me in this playbook. And I want to continue that up, and more and more and more that we do that, the more we increase the frequency. And who knows where this ride's going to take us. We'll keep co-creating, you know? That's what I want to do.
And thank you for allowing me to work with you. And, you know, we started like you were just this person that I just looked up to, and I never thought I could ever like get to a place where you're at, but you helped, you know, help me clear my filter and rise my thoughts and my belief systems about myself to the point that I get to stand here as an equal to you. And I am so honored and grateful. And like my cup just, you know, is so full right now.
It's full. It's full. It's full, everybody. I just want to like just wrap this up by saying I really appreciate you. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. This is, you know, our perspectives. This is something that we want to express ourselves and to allow you the room to really dive into your own self-expression and express yourself and be the biggest, truest you as possible in the space of where you're at. And I'm excited to see where everybody goes with this.
Yeah, I love it. Well, that's great. I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. You got on hold music? Oh, no. All right, with that, we're going to wrap it up.
All right, girl. You there?
All right. Thanks, everyone.
There you are. Okay. Bye.
Bye.